What's going on, guys? Alpha the Wizard back at it with another video. Today we are continuing the meta history of Yu-Gi-Oh! And we are on year 2008 Dark Arm Return format. Now in the previous videos we covered the Dark Arm Return variants plus like the DDT dad decks. And today I just wanted to display something new to you that you probably didn't expect. So in Dark Arm Return format, while it was undoubtedly tier 0 and it was dominating the format in almost every single top cut, there was one deck that came out of nowhere and just so happened to win at SJC, and that deck was Six Samurai. Now, Six Samurai was really good, mainly because of this card right here, Great Shogun Shien, because it states if your opponent, they can only activate one spell or trap each turn, which definitely puts a hindrance on Dark Arm Return decks. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and hop into this profile and show you the winning deck list of the Shonen Jump. So to start things off, we have the most broken card of the deck, and that is 3 Great Shogun Shien. Now, Shogun Shien, this was predominantly one of the main reasons why it probably won the SJC, and it's because of its really good effect, and it was a big body, so it was very hard to out. But then, in addition to Shogun Shien, they also played a singular copy of Anishi Shien's Chancellor. Now, this card wasn't overly broken, but in the instance of a grind game, this card comes up really good and has a really good effect. So yeah, we have those. And then, of course, this is Six Samurai. So we want to run 3 Grandmaster of the Six Samurai, because this card basically states if you have 2 Six Samurai monsters on the field, you can just special this card from your hand, and it is a 2100 beater. Now, speaking of 2100 beaters, we also play 2 copies of Cyber Dragon. Cyber Dragon is just really good at just board presence and basically trying to just keep bodies on the field. So Cyber Dragon was definitely necessary, because if you're able to just summon a Cyber Dragon and flood the field with 6 Samurais, it's very hard to get over this. Now that's really it for the big monsters. Now on to the smaller, weaker monsters. He opted to play 3 Six Samurai Yaichi or Yachi. This is a really good one. Basically, you can just target a spell or trap and destroy the target if you control another Six Samurai. But yeah, so this was another essential piece of the strategy, along with Zanji. Zanji was the beater of the deck. 1800 attack stat is nothing to be slept on, because it's just as big as a Stratos. And also at the end of the damage step, if this card attacked, you can destroy a monster this card attacked, but you have to control another Six Samurai in order to do so. And then in addition to those 6 Samurais, he did opt to play 3 copies of Iru. 6 Samurai Iru, this one's pretty good. So this is kind of like a Mystic Swordsman level 2. It can attack a face-down monster and destroy it without flipping it or applying damage calculation, and it is a 1700 beater as well. And then he also opted to play 1 copy of Kaman. Now, Kaman wasn't exactly the greatest one, but it is necessary, especially if you're playing against like FTK decks and they have spell economics. You can just target a face-up spell or trap on the field and destroy it. But just like all the other 6 Samurais, you have to control another 6 Samurai in order to use the effect. Now, this one wasn't the greatest one, but it was pretty decent, justifiable as a one-of. And then the newer edition that came out around this time was Spirit of the Six Samurai. Now this card was good for multiple purposes. Basically, you can equip it to a 6 Samurai monster and it gains 500 attack and defense. And then also if it destroys a monster by battle, you can just draw a card. So the effect of this is pretty decent, and it also adds a level of consistency to the 6 Samurai strategy. So that's really it for those monsters. Now on to the spell and traps. This is 6 Samurai, and it wouldn't be 6 Samurai without reasoning. This card is really good because if you look at all the Six Samurai monsters, yes, while a few of them are level 4s, a lot of them are level 3s. But then we also have Cyber Dragon, which is a level 5. We have Grandmaster, which is a level 5, which they probably won't be calling 5 anyway. We have Shogun Shien, which is a 7. And we have Anishi, which is a 6. So there is a variety in this deck for reasoning, and it's definitely one of the better cards because it is an extender. And then since it is a warrior-based deck, we play 2 copies of Reinforcements of the Army. This card isn't to this format for good reason. But yeah, Reinforcements of the Army is mandatory in this deck just because it helps out with the consistency. But then, two like the pretty much obvious staples almost every deck, we have Heavy Storm, Mystical Space Typhoon. We do have to play a Premature Burial. Now, this list that won the SJC, this was actually before the March ban list. So Phantom Darkness released in February of 2008. And then if you remember retro formats, the ban lists were 6 months apart and they go from March to September. And then when the ban list dropped in March, Monster Reborn came off of the Forbidden list. So Reborn should also be in here as well. However, this list is the list that won right before the ban list, before Malicious went to 2. So if you really take this into consideration, Malicious went to 2 in March, so this deck actually should be even a little bit better after the ban list. And then we do have 1 copy of Brain Control. Brain Control is just good for dealing with the big boss monsters. And then just in case we get ourselves in a bind, we play 1 copy of Swords of Revealing Light. Now, Swords is pretty necessary in this strategy because sometimes you need to have multiple Six Samurais on the field to be able to use their effects. And Swords Revealing Light allows you to do that because they're not going to be able to kill you through a Swords. But yeah, so that's really it for the spell cards, relatively small lineup. Now, on to the traps. Didn't play too many, just enough to do the job. And 3 Solemn Judgments. 3 Solemn Judgment is pretty mandatory in this deck because if you're able to set up, your field, plus you have Solemn Judgment, you're able to out any problematic cards that try to deal with your board. And then we do have 2 copies of Phoenix Wing Wind Blast. Wing Blast is actually really good this format. A lot of Dark Armor turn decks didn't play this, but this actually helps you to control the tempo of the game and allows you to buy yourself another turn to get another Six Samurai on the field to start doing some cool things. And then 1 singular copy of Call the Haunted, and then 1 copy of Torrential Tribute. Now this is going to slightly adjust in the March ban list because Call the Haunted got banned and Monster Reborn came back, but no worries, you can just swap Call the Haunted for Monster Reborn and call it a day. But yeah, so that is it for the winning deck list. That was Six Samurai in this SJC. I want to thank you all for watching. This is one of the more exciting deck profiles that I've been able to profile. I finally finished this deck. Sorry for the mismatch rarities. The Iru's common, the other 2 are ultra. However, I'm just really excited that I was able to complete this strategy so that I could display it for you all. And that's it for this video. Make sure you stay tuned for the next episodes of the Meta History of Yu-Gi-Oh! And leave a like, comment, subscribe down below for future content. And with all that being said, I will see you in the next one.